mis jarruta.
Satanist! Hail, Satan! Hail, Satan! Hail, Satan!
Greetings, heathens. Welcome to Hail Satan. This is a podcast exploring Satanism, culture, and life in general through the eyes of modern Satanists. I'm your host. My name is Joseph Rose. I'm a member of the Satanic Temple and founder of Satanic Delco. I'm joined by a very, let's call him a special guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I am Jerry Wood of the Grunge Podcast, and I am here today to speak to all of the heathens and ask why. Why?
Welcome, Jerry. For everyone listening, let me just really quick get you up to speed. We're joined by this man, Jerry. Jerry's my pal, and he and I have co-hosted another podcast for some time. And, circumstances have made it so that he's my co-host here today.
I love
Hail
that.
Satan.
I love that you are an avid skydiver, and in some ways, I feel like a parachute. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? I know what I'm going to do. Call in the parachute. Call in Jerry. Call in the backup.
Yes.
And here I am.
We're here to have an episode today with Jerry. Is Jerry a Satanist? Well, I guess we'll answer that question by the end of the episode. It may not be clear exactly. It's not clear.
Yeah. What I do like about this, before we go any further with our conversation, and I look forward to our conversation, I want to treat this with respect. I want to hold this with kid gloves. But I will tell you, that fucking intro is fire. It blows the grunges out, like it just kills it dead. That whole bass line, the people talking.
Just as we're warming up and getting into this episode, I know
give it a solid A.
Jerry is chomping at the bit for this. So rather than have him dance around it for the whole episode, I'll just say what he wants me to say, and then we'll be over it. Jerry and I do host a podcast. It's called The Grunge, okay? You can find it at thegrungepodcast.com. Is that good enough, Jer? Can we just leave it alone now?
I wasn't even talking about that. I'm talking about like the intro. The intro is fantastic, but that's neither here nor there. This intro, and being the first time on this podcast, which is an honor.
Thank you.
And a privilege to be here. It really is.
All right.
And just to hear that intro, and I've heard it in my car when you played it for me.
Yeah.
And you sent me a file, and it's fantastic. The outro is even better. Like
It's even better?
I love it because I think I want to be an MC. Okay. Like I want to get in there. I want to put some lyrics to it.
You should.
You want to do your outro? You want me rapping?
Maybe
over
we'll
it?
do a special little version of it.
Let's do it today.
Okay, let's do that today. So what are we going to talk about today? Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know yet, so we'll see. Jerry's going to help figure that out. I do have some of our normal business to get to. I've got some listener messages. Jerry, shall we read some listener messages?
I would love to hear some.
I do have that.
This is great.
All right. Let's go, guys. Our first one is from Casket. Hey, Casket here. Just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for this podcast. I've learned so much, and it has been very illuminating and enlightening. I'm a 36-year-old woman who has always been an atheist, but learning about the Satanic Temple has captivated me, especially with the activism aspect. Keep the episodes coming, and thank you again.
There's not a lot of avenues for Casket or anybody really in this type of world. So like you see a lot of podcasts. I mean, there probably is hundreds because there's 800,000 of these things. Of all different sorts. Podcasts. Are there a lot of these satanic podcasts?
Yeah.
And are they of different degrees of extreme versus? It's just like anything.
Sure they're all over the map. I haven't heard them all, but yeah, they're all over the map. They all have different personalities and like angles and gimmicks and ways of doing a podcast.
What I like about Casket is one name. And one names are very successful.
It's a pretty sweet fucking name.
I never even thought about it.
Casket.
And I'm pretty sure there's not a band named Casket.
I hope there is. And if there's not, there's going to be one soon. All right. Message number 2 comes in from Damien Tuttle. Should I say last names? I always forget. He says, hi, I started Satanism around the 1st of November. So about 3 days ago for me, it just made so much sense to me and it just fit me perfectly. And I thank you guys for making this podcast. It has really helped me. So this dude is about as brand spanking new as you could get.
Oh, baby, an infant.
So Damien, welcome to the dark side. Thank you for listening to the podcast and writing in. I hope somehow we can be useful in your journey, especially in these most early days. If there's anything we can do for you, just write us a little message and I'll see if I can point you in the right direction.
What I'm hearing in both of these, and I don't want to get in the middle of your flow. What I'm hearing in both of these is thank you. And I'm wondering if there's a lot more people out there who think the way you guys think that just don't have someone who's willing to help them through it. So
I think that's absolutely the case. There's when someone discovers Satanism, or they catch a whiff of it online somewhere through they bump into it somehow, and for so many people, and probably myself included, when someone first runs into the 7 tenets, it is an eye-opening experience, because for your average decent, semi-intelligent person with like normal priorities in order, when they read the 7 tenets, it makes a whole lot of sense. And they think, well, wait a damn minute. I like that. I like the sound of this. That makes sense to me. Or so often we get things where the person's like, well, yeah, I already believe that. I already live my life that way. It's perfect. And it's just a matter of being exposed to it. And you might believe in all those ideals and, moral guidelines or whatever you want to call them, but just having a name to put on it that comes with all of the things that a religion or organization comes with, a sense of community, all the rest of it, it's eye-opening, because you already know who you are, you know how you feel, but all of a sudden when you see it in print and you see all this other stuff attached, it's like, oh damn, I didn't even know that was there. It's a gold mine, and it's very exciting at first. And I think that's what some of these new people are running into. They're just getting to discover the existence of the Satanic Temple.
Right.
Because before you discover the Satanic Temple, you say Satanism, and everybody's got a lot of ideas, as you can imagine. We got one last message. This comes from Fraser. Is it Fraser? Fraser, let's say. I'm an atheist and have always been so. It does seem a bit strange to call yourself a Satanist if you don't believe in Satan. Do real Satanists complain? I take it's a jibe at Christians, but isn't that kind of lowering yourself to the levels that you profess to be above? Must admit I find it confusing and got oddly riled up about it when it matters not a jot to me in reality, which is rather strange, and even ended up writing an email to you. I'll carry on listening for now.
And I think that was the gist. What she just, what was her name? Fraser?
This is Fraser.
Fraser, give me them ham, bacon, and eggs. Remember that show? Neither here nor there. But that's sort of the gist of what I was trying to get to. And we'll get to that subject in a minute after your other things. But like, that's sort of I turned my head, I cocked my head to it. Like, you don't really need that.
So going through this message, he says, she, I'm not sure who Fraser is. They say, I'm an atheist and have always been. Okay, it seems strange to call yourself a Satanist if you don't believe in Satan. Do real Satanists complain? That's the sentence that stuck out to me.
I don't know a real Satanist.
Well, I do.
In the extreme terms of what we think.
It comes down to a perception, semantics, really. Mm-hmm. They are asking, do real Satanists complain? And here's your answer, Fraser. You're listening to the real Satanists. I am the real Satanist. Members of the Satanic Temple are the real Satanists. And so, no, we're not upset about it at all. What you might mean when you say that is, don't the silly goofballs who worship a fictional deity complain? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean theistic Satanists who worship and believe in an actual demon in the depths of hell, which is located where? Is that exactly, Jar?
Below us.
It's below. It's down. I guess you dig. And before you get to China, I guess you get to hell somewhere in the middle there.
Somewhere in the molten core, hell exists.
Yeah. Those are not the real Satanists. I think what scientists would call those people are goofballs or, I don't know, dum-dums, maybe. Is that what you'd call them?
I don't know. Delusional.
Yeah.
I mean, being an atheist.
And look, I'm not here to like shit on anyone anyone's religion, other religions. Everybody's entitled to have their own religious beliefs. But as a man that values science and, reasonable ideas, I guess I would say, I don't find that idea feasible any more than I do a fat man shoving his ass down my chimney or a fucking weird mutant bunny leaving me presents to celebrate the birth of another weird deity that isn't real. Like, what the fuck are we talking about, guys?
There's an interesting story. There's an interesting story. Not to go off on a tangent.
Let's do it anyway.
Not to go off on a tangent. My father and my mom. I was very young, and I still believed in the Easter Bunny at one time, but I couldn't fall asleep. This must have been in 1986 or something like that. 1985 or 86, and I couldn't fall asleep. So my mom and dad were tired. It's like, fuck it, the Easter Bunny's coming. You got to pretend to be asleep. So my father, being a good parent. That my mom opened the door, said, "Hello, Easter Bunny." And in the back of my head, all I could picture is this 6-foot fucking rabbit. And then it starts jumping down. My dad starts pantomiming a rabbit hopping. Mm-hmm. He jumps, and I can't hear it. I don't even look because I think this thing's real. If I turn around and see a 6-foot rabbit, I'm going to shit my pants.
Yeah.
So I'm dung. All I hear is crunch, crunch. This guy's jumping, and then it leaves.
This was your dad doing this?
Yeah, but I didn't. At the time, I was small,
right,
so I thought the thing existed. I thought there was a 6-foot rabbit in my house delivering candy, and all of a sudden it became all too real. And how terrified. My mom says, "Okay, he's gone." I'm sweating. I just fucking started crying.
Oh my god!
And then she said, "It's not real. It was your father the whole time."
Oh, so right there she gave it up.
She was like, "Fuck, dude."
Oh, yeah.
But she felt so bad because I imagine doing that to your kid. You're just sitting there like revving a chainsaw at the back of his head, like it's gonna come, and that's what it looked like. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I never leaned in too hard on like Easter Bunny type shit with my kid. You know what I mean?
No, but we dispelled that myth immediately.
Yeah,
because I have a problem with that.
So let me make sure I give this the attention. So do real Satanists complain? I assume maybe Fraser means the idea of theistic Satanists, people that believe in and worship a Satan.
So they believe that
I don't think I actually...
a God and a Satan.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if I know anyone who is a theistic Satanist. I don't know if I've met that person. I don't know how many of them there are. I gotta believe there's not that many. I hope there's not that many.
The closest I've ever gotten to that in my life was one guy, Bob, and he believed it. I think he believed it, but it was extremely cartoony.
Okay,
I think there was a wink, but he really lived that lifestyle.
Was he just maybe edgy?
Extremely edgy. There's a lot of animal blood and shit like that,
Oh, yeah.
And so he was. But did he really
do
that?
And then the other thing. So Fraser, when he says "do real Satanists complain," he might also mean the Church of Satan. But no, I guess he doesn't mean that because they don't believe in Satan either.
No.
So no, he must just mean theistic Satanists. Well, Fraser, so do the real Satanists complain? I would say. If they're out there, these theistic Satanists, I'm sure there's some, they probably do complain. And that's good. I hope they are annoyed and upset. I hope they cry over our very existence because that's ridiculous. And I don't spend much time at all ever thinking about them, and they're silly.
I think it's a difference between.
And again, I'm sorry. I apologize to any theistic Satanists that might. I'm sure they've bailed out of this podcast by now if they started this show.
It's like Baptists and another one, Neapolitans. That's an ice cream. But they like Baptists versus other people,
Catholics.
The Catholics. Like it's all sort of the same thing, but not really.
But not only in name.
Only in name.
The only thing we share is the name.
But Catholics believe in God and all that, and Jesus Christ, and so do Baptists. But there's the difference.
Yeah,
and they hate each other.
And we've covered
sometimes.
On this show, in our earliest couple of episodes there, we talked all about the idea of what is Satanism, why we do what we do, what it means, where the ideas come from. We've covered a bit of that ground. So yeah, I guess all I could say is I'm not worried about the handful of theistic Satanists out there that might be upset that we call ourselves Satanists, because the Church of Satan is also upset that we call ourselves Satanists. They say that they are the only true Satanism. That's what they say. Their whole deal, the Church of Satan, and they're really into elitism. Mm-hmm. Again, that's not my interpretation. That's their deal. They're very clear about it. They're a religion for the elite. And they believe that they are the true Satanism, and that members of that the Satanic Temple as a whole is just an activist organization that is co-opting the name and blah, blah, blah. They're very butthurt because nobody really cares about the Church of Satan these days.
Well, it's an elite. I mean, what you have to be a certain ilk, to a certain breed of human to be in the Church of Satan.
Yeah. They're into a whole social Darwinism thing.
Like power and money and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a whole...
Interesting.
They've got a whole thing.
Well, how do you win? How do you get your flock that way? I'm sorry, pardon using the Christian terms, but like the flock,
I like that term.
The flock. How do you get your flock by being an elitist prick? That's like a bunch of people driving a Prius. I drive a hybrid. You could say whatever you drive isn't as good as whatever hybrid. I could have a Maserati Roddy.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
That's the same thing. It's pretentious.
Oh yeah, they're dicks. They're dicks.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Do they wear the black? Oh my God, I know. I'm so stereotypical. It's so cool
Jerry,
to be on
here's
this
the
podcast.
thing. We're here. You can just listen. You're a guy. In case everybody, just let's be clear. Jerry is casually familiar with some of these ideas. Mm-hmm. He is not all inside. He's not in the know. He doesn't spend much time, I don't think, thinking about such things.
I do want to go to some of the groupings though for when the kids play. I like that. I like that a lot. Like what's neat about this, and most of you already know this. I'm just I'm beating a dead horse here, but most of you, is that this is sort of like a group of people who support each other. And when I was made to go to Sunday school as a kid, what I didn't really pay attention to the religious aspect, but it was a group of people forced into it or were part of it and really wanted to be part of it. But then we could go to like camping trips. We went to like Chuck E. Cheese. Community.
Just
there's a sense of community.
And
the fact that there's a group of people who have their kids out and play in a park, that's what we're looking for.
I think that's among the most important parts of religion generally.
Any part of it, yeah. It's acceptance.
I think that is one of the most valuable parts, is that sense of community.
And you think without alcohol, it's like a social lubricant. It's you're not coming in like 100 miles per hour, like I'm the best person in the world. You have a like mind or something in there. Is that there's something you can identify with each other. And what I noticed in this when I first heard about it, I was like, well, that makes sense. I don't like him, and he's going to hell. But now that I gotten to know you, it's neat how this is sort of formed into what would be considered, if you stripped everything away, it's a sense of community.
Yeah.
And that I admire. And you guys are doing great works too, which I enjoy.
Jerry, perhaps we can take a moment to remind all of our lovely listeners that we do have a website, guys. You should visit hailsatanpodcast.com. On our website, you will find all of our social media platforms. I try to be pretty active on there and share some information when I can. We've also got a place to send us some emails. I love when you guys send feedback on the episodes, and especially when you sort of talk a little bit about your introduction to Satanism, a little bit about your story, your path that led you to searching or finding Satanism in whatever way that it happened. So keep those coming in. And of course, we also have a link to join our fun Patreon account over there, where there is some bonus content and some discounts on merch and all kind of things. So go check that out. I won't go all into it now, but hailsatanpodcast.com is the place to be. Jerry, why don't you give us a little bit of your background so we understand what we're faced with here? You've got a bit of religious history.
Yeah, I do. Not when I was a kid, like I was baptized in a tub because my mom thought it'd be the right thing to do.
For real?
Yeah, she's Catholic, and her mom's like, he has to be baptized. So she just said, fuck it, I'll do it myself. So she is in a tub, and it was in a tub in somewhere in Holmes.
Just by herself?
Yeah, she just did it herself. It just said, so she says she could do it. I'm
Is
not
that
Catholic.
valid?
No, it's not valid at all.
Oh.
That's the type of healthy respect I get for religion from my mom. She's like, it is what it is. You do what you do.
Right.
And then we go through all the way till I was 11. Well, my parents divorced at 11. And then, and when something like that happens to people, like your parent, like your father, mother, or other people,
right there, the divorce, that's against the vows.
Well, that's one of the things that is against vows. But my dad found God. He found God in this.
Before or after the divorce?
After the divorce.
Okay.
He went to church he lived with his parents. His parents went to church. It was one of the conditions of him living there is that he had to go to church. My father used to drink gin, Harley Rider. It's a different type of cat. He's different than he is today. But back then, he had to go. It'd be, if you have to live here, you're going to live here rent free, you got to go to church. So he had to go to church. And there he found some people, much like you. Some of these things it's the same thing. It's people. It's acceptance. These people are welcoming.
They're finding a thing that speaks to them.
But it also came from a traumatic event of losing his wife. My mom, and I don't think anyone's going to hear this, but me. My mom had I don't think my parents are going to hear this. So it's but like the idea that my mom had cheated on my dad. So this was a traumatic event. Shit. So he went and he just wanted to be loved or accepted. And this is me I'm just filling in the blanks here. No one's ever said this to me, but I'm assuming that because anyone who finds God, it's usually something all fucked up that makes them find God.
Wait, hold on just a second. You're telling me your mom cheated on your dad or
I know that.
Oh, okay. You know it.
We brought the guy back from Germany.
Oh, okay.
So I know the guy.
Okay. I wasn't sure
Later,
if you were saying you were just speculating.
No, I'm not speculating. My mom's a whore, and I think my mom's a whore. I don't know. I have no proof.
You have proof that she did, in fact, do this.
Well, yeah, I know that. But it was a loveless relationship. Off you go, Beef. So they, and so when we had my dad had us on the weekends. And what do we do on the weekends? What's Sunday? Sunday's always fucking church. And then boom. But as I go, it's in church in Chester. So all the kids were like fucking inner city kids with me. And so we got in. The first time I smoked PCP was at church.
Wow.
And the first
at church?
It was at church. It was during Sunday school. Went to get cheesesteaks. We went near the Woodland Shopping Center. So we go and get cheesesteaks to smoke some PCP. It was a different world. Of course, that was like 3 years into the joint. I did a lot of my firsts in that
Jerry,
building.
What? I'm a little lost.
So that's my religious
in
understanding.
This story right now.
That's my religious understanding. So after 3 years of it, there is no religious. To me, it says community. It's a like.
So basically, you're saying when you were a kid,
it's a shared misery.
Okay,
that's my religious upbringing.
Was religion at all at the forefront of,
I don't smoke PCP.
Growing up as a kid, when you were a child through, say, high school.
It's a tale of two worlds. So I would live with my mother, and then we go to ultra religious, my father. So there would be a black and a white. So you'd have to be on your
What was the deal with mom?
My mom didn't have anything.
It was just
she liked being Catholic because there's guilt in that. It's funny. Like some of your Jewish guilt, Catholic guilt, some of these people are the best conversationalists and the funniest people in the world because if you're talking to me, you'll realize I always have a dark turn to even if it's a good situation in my life.
You do tend to make everything negative.
I lean to the negative. That's the one religious thing I have. Yeah. But that's my mom's side. My dad, you had a piety to it all. He was a deacon and he's calmed down since. But it was just you were severely religious on one side and no religion on the other side. So my mom made fun of it. I would go and participate.
Oh, she did?
Oh, she made fun of it. I would participate.
And she wasn't like church going?
No. We were retail people.
So not even like Christmas time or Easter, nothing?
We had food there. We did the celebration.
But no church.
But there was no church. No.
Okay.
We were happy. I voiced the Passion Play for 4 straight years. I was the narrator for that.
Yes.
I could tell you all about that thing.
And so when you would go over to Dad's after his conversion, then how would that go?
Well, then we met after the conversion. Then he met my future stepmother, and then it became a real thing.
She was religious.
She was religious too. But then I met my brothers who were not. So we were able to actually separate. So we built a bond, trying to skate away from what would be considered child in any religion is sort of an oppression to youth.
Yeah,
act this way, be this way, be this way. Not fun. Well, we would get away with that, and then. What I think the religious aspect of it all really did for me was actually try to make me rebel and ratchet up whatever I was trying to. We talked about I just talked about PCP. I would not do that on my own thing. We just wanted to get away from it. I do respect
get away from all of the restrictions and
And then my dad had custody of me, so then we had it all the time after that. And then
and he was like, it got intense. Like it wasn't a very big.
It wasn't snakes and shit where people, it wasn't that bad. He's still a human being.
But he was regular at church.
He was regular at church. He
had
participated,
a Bible.
And he was a nice guy. It wasn't like he was like brimstone and hellfire.
Right.
There were people like that, but it was a very big part of our life. I went to the Christian Academy in Aston. I did that for a year. I got kicked out, and I'm not doing anything bad, but they caught a note saying that that one of the teachers was impotent, and I sort of respect the fact.
That's what got you kicked out.
Mm-hmm. I said he was impotent, and I had to go back to Ridley.
Wow.
So 1 year I went.
So you passed a note. You were, in a childlike, goofing off way, writing that this one fucking teacher.
It was the Bible teacher who couldn't get it hard on, and it was a bad. That sounds so sacrilegious, and it's not. It was just this guy.
I mean,
it has nothing to do with.
It's just a guy.
It's just a guy. It has nothing
And
to do
you
with
said
religion.
his dick couldn't get hard.
Yeah, his name was Mr. I. Mr.
And
I.
So they threw you right out of school.
I got kicked out right after
Damn, that seems like the nuclear option.
Yeah, there wasn't. I had already
you
been.
been a
I had
troubled
already
student?
been suspended and all that other stuff. I really didn't have a healthy respect for schooling.
Right.
And then I had to go back to public school, which welcomed me in with open arms. And we went to the same high school. We didn't talk.
Yep. Me and Jerry went to the same high school.
We did not.
I had no idea you were there.
Me neither.
I didn't know. In all fairness, I was hardly there.
Yeah, me too.
I was hardly
as soon as I
there.
figured out I could walk out and no one could stop me,
Exactly.
I left.
Yeah.
And Votech was the only say. That's why I think we both went to Votech because it was like a quick way to get a bunch of credits. And even then, I just left again. I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. So, but yeah, that's my religious background.
So you grew up in this half religious, half not sort of way, and what about you? I mean, where did you solidify whatever your beliefs are? How did that shake out for you personally?
I think, and it was recently, is when I not weaponized it, but realized, and I consider myself a Christian for many years. Up until like 7 or 8 years ago, I did not. Because I was doing things. I worked for a housing company, PHA over here. It's a Section 8 company. It's public assistance for houses. It's really not. It's sort of a lot of money making. I would go into people's homes. I would do things. Have a blessed day. I would quote scripture with a lot of inner city people and all this other stuff.
Just bullshitting.
It was bullshit, but I would just say it because I'm versed in it, And I realized that I was just doing it to pacify someone. Then turn around. I think I did this so many times, and then turn around and I would evict them. I would make them homeless, like because they weren't paying their rent and all that other stuff. And I felt awful. Like to me, it didn't seem like the Christian thing to do. And as I realized, it's not. It's just money. And there's nothing here. Like all I'm doing is fooling these people. Yeah. And then I was fooled by proxy, fooling myself.
This was upsetting.
This upset me. It was epiphany. I'd watched it. I was evicting. It's a sort of a painful memory. I was watching. I had to evict these people. We have you come to a house and it's a sheriff and they knock on the door. You have 15 minutes to leave. And some of this is the parents' fault. You should have paid your rent. Neither here nor there. Maybe they couldn't. I don't know. But I remember watching this little girl dance out of her house. She had no idea what she was getting into, but she did a twirl and she was happy. And I was like, man, she has no idea. Yeah. And then at that point I was like, there's really nothing here. And it's not like it broke my faith. I didn't really have it. I was fooling myself. But I was like, there's really nothing here.
At that point, while you were in there at this point in time working this job, you were casually Christian?
I would play the part.
But as far as yourself, I mean, did you believe?
In retrospect, no.
No.
I would still do what I wanted to do, and a lot of your religions have, other than this one that you guys are part of, there's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of things you shouldn't do, and some of them are good. You shouldn't do a lot of these things. I shouldn't murder people. I shouldn't take advantage of other people. And where I felt I am taking advantage of other people. So and that broke me of my.
But as far as like a belief in God and all that stuff,
it all died. It all died with that girl dancing out the front door.
Right.
Like it all went away. Like there's nothing here. And it wasn't like I didn't have hope for that young lady. It was just like she's got to make her own way because no one's helping her. And you have to be better. And I think that some would look at what you have as selfish. A lot of what you say, hail Satan, hail thyself. It sounds very selfish, but it's not. You really have to take care of yourself, and and it will help if you take care of other people while you're helping yourself. So, but yeah, when that little girl danced out of that room, man, out of that house, I've never seen anything like it. It was really beautiful and horrifying all at the same time.
Yeah, that's intense.
It's a lot. You got a lot of my religious background.
So you just generally would consider yourself an atheist?
Yeah, we're all computers, and then we just shut down.
What, sir?
We're all computers. What
does that mean?
When a computer goes bad and you can't get it to work again, there's no way to fix it. It just stops. It's just a cold. Like before, it gave you so much. You had access to the world. You could experience everything. Yeah. You could see Taj Mahal without going. You could take a virtual tour, and all of a sudden, a processor just stops working.
So you're saying you're an atheist?
Yeah, I would say that. But wow. I do respect other people's shit. Like I came on this not wanting to fuck it. Like not wanting to hurt anything.
What are you gonna hurt?
I don't know.
What are you worried about?
I don't like. I respect other people's religions. I don't think that they're wrong because they believe it.
Right. Well, people can be wrong.
They can be wrong, but like, why would I challenge?
People believe in a lot of shit that's wrong.
I know.
I mean, look, I bring it up all the time, but we have people that literally are flat earthers.
Yes.
Like they believe that.
Mm-hmm.
They're dumb.
They are. And you say, you question it for a second. For real? In my...
Yeah, you just assume they're trolling or joking.
Yeah.
Like, what?
But if they start going into it, I just lose interest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just... I leave.
Yeah, I have a hard time, while I want to be respectful of people generally, I think I am. I want to be compassionate whenever possible. I want to be a good dude. I try my best. But it is real hard sometimes when someone has a wild belief of some kind. Let's just say a flat earther. All right, there's a silly example. If you sat here, in private with me one day, we're hanging out, and then it comes out that you believe in a flat earth, I'm going to have a hard time with you generally. Like, I can compartmentalize. Lots of people out there disagree with me and have different beliefs, and that doesn't give me pause at all. Like, people have all kinds of varying political beliefs and just preferences and things that aren't aligned with mine, and different ideas and ways to live life. And that's okay. And I kind of really enjoy that. Generally, I love all the variety in the world and amongst people. That's sort of exciting and fun. But you do run into these things here and there where, like I was saying, if you decide to tell me you're a flat earther, I just have a hard time looking at you and interacting with you as a peer and compartmentalizing that.
But you don't look at it as a trait? So do you have a rough go with like Christians and Muslims?
I don't have anybody, I don't think I do. Off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of anyone who is like a very active religious, Christian person or any other religion really. I don't think I have anyone like that, but surely I have friends that are religious on some level. I know I have Christian friends that if you asked them, they'd say, yeah, I'm Christian, whatever. But I don't have anybody where it seems to play a big role in their life. And I don't know that is a difference that makes a big, whether that matters very much or not. But I don't know, when I take a moment to really think about it, I'm like, wait a minute, this fully formed adult that I'm supposed to treat with respect and assume they intelligence, at least, on the same level that I do of an average person out here in the world. And they truly believe in what is essentially a fucking Santa Claus story. I struggle with it. Man, I wonder, I want to be able to compartmentalize it and say, well, they're fine, they're normal. They just believe in this ridiculous Santa Claus thing. Like, how do you... I just struggle sometimes. How do I take them seriously as a person when I know this about them? It's hard. It's hard.
It's like believing in magic.
Yeah, I guess so.
And magic's everywhere.
Is it? Is magic everywhere? See, you might be a member of the Church of Satan.
It's all over the place. we are.
I don't know, man. I know I just rambled about that, but it is hard to find the line. Like,
I rambled about previous.
I want to respect everyone, and truly, I really mean when I say I respect everyone's freedom of religion, and everybody can believe what they want to believe. But at a certain point, doesn't it sort of tell you something about that person?
I don't know.
How do we ignore it?
I mean, is Scientology a religion, or is it a way of life? They believe in things, and we sort of look at it that way. I mean, I lived next to Scientologists. That shit is real.
Like Scientology is a great example.
It is.
People point out Scientology all the time
and laugh at it, but it's not very different, except for the fact that they use contemporary devices like Boeing 747s drop the thetans into a volcano and shit like that. But like, there isn't a lot different. But would you? Is any part of Scientology
Like as an organization, they get into some shitty things, and that's bad.
It's also money focused. It's obviously built off membership dues and then soldiers and stuff like that.
Sure. But like, is anything in Scientology inherently more ridiculous or more unbelievable than all of the stories in Christianity?
Well, they're
Guy dies, comes back, walk on water. Every animal in the world fit on the boat.
You don't think
what?
You don't think that we're being operated by tiny little aliens until we purge them? Can we never be our true selves?
I don't know. I'm struggling to find evidence.
I just wanted to know why. When I lived in Clearwater, Florida, I wanted to know why they would put people in Dickies pants that always made their asses look fat. Like if you weren't of a higher order, you couldn't dress like everyone else. You had to wear a blue shirt and blue. Yeah. You had a uniform.
Is that right?
And all the asses look huge. And their buses, they had their own Scientology buses, and they were facing each other. You couldn't look out. They didn't look out the window. Very interesting stuff.
Yeah, we do that in Satanism too. We have a whole dress code that goes by rank.
Do you?
The new Satanists, they have to wear like baggy jeans. You don't get to wear tight shit until
I'm already there, man. But it'd be funny if it was like a Star Trek colored thing. You're a red shirt. And you get to wear the orange Kirk shirt. I do, and you want to avoid that, don't you?
What?
Doesn't this whole satanic thing? Don't you want to avoid these trappings?
What trappings?
Levels, rank. You need it. You will always. People say they don't want to rank it as a community. You need one. You always need a figurehead. You will need that. It's just
like
the nature
in
of the
religion, in the organization.
You need
of the
a
Satanic
spokesperson,
Temple?
and you need something to.
Well,
blame.
look. Here's a thing. This is
It's hairy.
There's a separation, and it's one that I deal with in particular because of my role in Satanic Delco, the group that we have out here that, I guess we talk about it a fair bit on this show. We are members of the Satanic Temple, as in I'm a member of the Satanic Temple. And, I would suspect that the overwhelming majority of the members of my group, Satanic Delco, are members of the Satanic Temple. We are not in any way an official offshoot or affiliation or anything like that of the Satanic Temple. We are independent. We're just a group of people. We're not speaking on behalf of the Satanic Temple. We're nothing like that. So for us, we're Satanists. We're just people in the world, just living our lives, doing our thing. But the organization, the Satanic Temple, has a whole infrastructure. It has a hierarchy. It has, the men that founded it and, people that vote on things. They have an international council that, deals with chapters across the country and the world now. That's why they used to be the National Council. Now they're the International Council. So within an organization, there is organizational structure, but we don't have anything as far as like, these are the more, special or powerful members or level. We don't have anything like that. It's just, we believe in, essentially, it's easy to simplify it down for me. We believe in these 7 tenets.
Yeah.
That's what we believe in.
And I think that goes for everybody. The Christians have their commandments. I know the Muslims have something. They have a lot of them. There's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
Like I work with a Muslim guy. There's a ton of rules.
Yeah, we did a couple episodes here on the Church of Satan, and goddamn, they have a lot of rules.
A lot of rules,
but,
And I think that what I liked them, I thought this was pretty free and clear. Like that, what we hear, the feedback was like, I believe in it. You said it. I already believe in a lot of what you guys believe in.
Yeah.
Leave people alone. Do what you do. Don't fuck with me.
Be nice.
Be nice. Let's just be a nice person. I also lend that to Christianity too. It made me better at being I would be a better person if I was in Chester. If I lived in Chester the way I did and didn't have a little bit of direction on how to be a decent human being, and to their credit, I think that helped. How to learn to empathize and to deal with people, because some people really take that shit seriously. And then they credit it with them getting out of certain binds. And what you're doing over here in this thing is giving people who are considered, I think, who have these thoughts and who think about it, but you're giving them something to go to. And I know it sounds like an infomercial. I don't want to. But like,
what are you talking about?
A niche type of cat who had all these beliefs and wanted to put it somewhere. You come to it. It's every religion.
The Satanic Temple.
The Satanic Temple has there's people who don't know about it.
Yeah.
And then they get it and like, oh my God, they're blinded by the light. the dark light. I don't know what the fuck you guys do, but like they're blinded by something, and a lot of really good people are coming to it. But it's mostly why I like it is it's mostly just leave me alone, and I won't fuck with you, and you don't. Fuck
Now
with me.
I've talked to you a little. I've teased you maybe a little bit.
Teased me a lot.
About basically you're a closeted Satanist or a Satanist and you don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think me and you sat down once and took a look over the 7 tenets.
Yes, we did.
And as we went through them, as I expected would be the case, I think you were on board with all of them. You found them to be.
There's nothing there.
Yeah,
there's nothing there.
Wait, what do you mean? There's nothing there?
No, I mean
there's nothing you
there.
disagreed with.
There's nothing that would give me pause. You don't shy away from conflict. You state your opinion. I mean, if I could boil them, if you could read them all, I forgot most of them, but I the one that stuck with me is thyself. And to work just to work on yourself, and then you become a better person, and then by proxy, other people around you get better. I like that.
Yeah, and so there was nothing in them that you were like, oh no, fuck
no,
that.
It wasn't like lusting after someone's wife and I can get beheaded. You know?
Yeah, we don't do any beheadings.
Well, that's
on the
one of
record.
them. I can look at someone's wife and think she's hot, but if you even think that in some Christian organizations, in the Bible,
a lot of the sins over there in the Christianity, a lot of the sins are actually just thought crimes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even actions that you have to take.
You just thought
it's
about
just
it.
thoughts.
Lust. I remember being in Sunday school telling me, you just thinking about it is a sin. I was like, fuck, dude. I'm going through puberty.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going right to hell.
Oh, yeah.
Like, everyone here looks beautiful.
Everybody's looking real good right about now.
Everybody, yeah, man. Watching mouths at a different rate. It's weird.
Wow.
Puberty's funny, man. And I think the Church of Satan, it embraces puberty. And I finally, I don't feel like I'm
Church of Satan?
I'm sorry, the Satanic Temple. My apologies. I don't wear a black shirt with a black tie and drive a Prius.
What the fuck is
that's
the
what
Prius?
That's what the church is. You don't know what a Prius is?
I know what a Prius is, but what is its relevance to...
Those people are the most pretentious assholes on the planet. I know, I sell them.
Oh, the Prius people.
The Prius people are the worst drivers.
Is that so?
BMW and Prius people are assholes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, I don't think Toyota's going to hear this, right?
It's a little judgy, but okay.
It's extremely judgy.
Okay.
Because I know. I sit in front of them all day. I'm a car salesman. I'm an agent of the devil.
Jerry is, in fact, Satan himself.
Yeah, I was a slumlord and I was a car salesman.
You really are the devil.
I am.
Gosh.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm going to, when I put this episode out, I should put, interview with Satan himself.
Well, at least
Actual interview with Satan.
It's Satan's occupations, which are a great name for
Am I now? Man, I guess I'm a theistic Satanist now.
Yeah,
because I do believe you're real.
We answered the question that we had. Is Jerry a Satanist?
Frazier wrote in, I am a real Satanist. I believe in Jerry. Car salesman who has a history of throwing people out of their fucking homes.
Oh, man. That sounds so bad.
That's you, Jerry.
It's real. Jerry Christ.
So you were on board with the 7 tenets.
I am
and
on
the
board.
general ideals that the Satanic Temple
I'm on
follows.
Board. Some Buddhist teachings appeal
Sure.
to me. I mean, there's so much you can take.
What keeps you from being a Satanist? I guess maybe that's a fun way to approach it.
It's not necessary to put a label on it.
Necessary in what way?
I just don't need to proclaim anything.
You don't feel any...
I don't feel... not to
you don't
minimize
feel
it.
that sense of community would offer you anything.
Would they reject me if I did not? Yeah. So
No. I'm saying we've talked about how a big important thing for any religion is the community that comes with.
But is
sort
the
of
statement of it? Like in Christianity, some Christians won't hang out with you if you don't state the fact that you are. Like I've seen this, and again, growing up in the church for 20-something years, you see that type of elitism.
I'm not suggesting you should say you're a Satanist. I'm just wondering, what is it that, if you believe in the thing that binds us together primarily, what is it that keeps you from thinking you're a Satanist?
Oh, we can sit here and argue it, but let's just really say it. I'm not going to call myself a Satanist in public. I'm sorry. I'm on the Satanic podcast.
No, you're completely within your right. So your deal is you're afraid of the being ostracized or
I don't
viewed
know.
in a certain way.
I do have a lot of, and I think maybe I'm lying to myself, and I know that it's a weak stance. I understand that. I'm actually all too aware. But I do have a lot of Christian family members, and if I get into this type of thing, then I'm gonna have to start arguing it. And listen,
That's a shame.
I'm not
that
motivated.
bums me out right now.
as it should. It's a weak,
I've had this conversation.
It's a weak and terrible viewpoint.
Well, it's not. No, I don't mean it that way.
I mean it that way.
That I'm not thinking of it in the context of like you're being weak because you don't want to face up to that scrutiny. I'm thinking that it's really unfortunate that there are people out there like that who would view their own family member or their friend or whoever it might be. Because I've talked to a lot of people like this. We get messages all the time. I can't come out as a Satanist because of work or my family or this or that. And that's such a bummer because I've had, not with Satanism, but with other aspects of my life, I've felt that weight and pressure of having to like keep a secret about myself. Not like a bad thing I've done, just about what I am and who I am.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things.
And that's a real bad feeling.
I know. We have a lot of say. I mean, it's nowhere near the amount of blowback that a homosexual would get.
Sure.
They have to hide themselves and fear the disappointment, and this is nowhere near that. I wonder. It's a mirror of it. For me, it's an inconvenience, and I also have made a stand like where I'm not going to put a label on anything. I'm just not. I did that for way too long.
Being a Christian,
and I didn't believe it.
Right.
And I don't want to. And to me, it seems disrespectful without researching it, without really feeling it, and then proclaiming myself something that I'm not.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I don't want to. I'm not here to say.
Well, you're not witnessing. If you were witnessing, this would be a different podcast.
Yeah, I'm not here to say, Jerry, you need to be a Satanist. I'm just wondering, just because I know that I agree with a lot sort of aligned with the seven tenets, and you felt they were good.
And we talk about it with people. Like I do have people at work who listen to our other thing. And it comes up, it's like, well, Satan worshiper, you hear that, and then you have to explain what it really is,
right? And all of that comes from the baggage that we've had for years and years.
We talked about it last time we were talking. The baby eaters, what the fuck did that come from? Baby,
all of the satanic panic stuff that has carried over for so many years, and just the way it's generally portrayed in mainstream media, movies, whatever.
And a little bit of me, it might have answered my question, like why use Satan? It has impact.
For sure.
There is a lot of impact with the name of it, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, and so much of what the baggage that comes with the idea of Satan, obviously the Satan that everybody is afraid of, that causes those ideas, are the Christian. It's the Christian Satan.
Christian Satan.
Yeah. Christians believe in Satan. Satanists do not.
No.
And I know that sounds funny when you're brand new, but that is the case.
It is very much the case. Yeah. And some would say it's the romantic Satan versus your...
For sure.
So there's a ton of there's a lot of stuff out there. I do believe that the seven tenets are, from top to bottom, and maybe one I don't like so much, it's okay to offend people and all that shit. Maybe it's because I just don't have the effort to fucking argue with somebody about something. I'm assuming with the ones I've dealt with and have been... It's funny. The Satanists I've dealt with have been the nicest people. And I know it sounds fucking like I advertise. I always feel like I'm selling my pillow, and I'm like, and let me tell you about Satanists. They're comfy. They're money back guaranteed. That's not what I mean. It's just,
they are.
I
are.
Wallowed in. And I talk about my mother. My mom. Listen, she did what she had to do, and I'm into it. We talked about the mom and the other man and all that stuff. That's cool.
Yes.
But she had gone homeless, and and all of these catty ass Christians talking about my mom while she was homeless, but not helping. No one took her in.
Right.
My father did. My father had to go out and do something. But when dealing with these people, there's with your flock or with the flock. I don't know how with the people.
I like it. I want to use it.
It's what they say.
Guys, can I call you my flock? Because that's hilarious, and I love it. I love that term.
It's a real Christian term.
I love it.
It really is. Just been some of the nicest people in the world. I played bingo, and I just love. I played bingo. It's everything you guys do is fun.
Oh yeah,
to do.
Jerry did recently come out one night and played some pervy bingo with a group of Satanists.
It's funny, like everything I do. Like I played bingo is funny. You played bingo? Oh, right. No, I played bingo with a bunch of Satanists.
Yeah,
I went to a park. Where'd you go? Oh, a satanic park with a bunch of Satanists. Like everything I say is sort of like it, and not to make fun of it, but like it has this like ludicrous like what did you do? I raced go-karts with Satanists. Everything's funnier when you say
it makes it a little more fun,
doesn't it? Though,
yeah. And believe me, it's not lost on me. And I don't think what you're saying. I know you coming in today, you've been a little touchy or like worried that you might offend
I don't want to
some of us. And I'm not worried about that at all.
Awesome.
We're super aware of all of this stuff.
Awesome.
Like, we know what Satanism is. We know the way it looks to the outsiders. And I think it's safe to say that the vast majority of us have a healthy sense of humor. You know, amongst ourselves, you'll hear us say all kinds of things about all of the things that people say about us. You know, we reference sacrifices and all of it.
You get to be the villain, and you get to be the good guy.
And it is just fun because we know what we're doing. We do good things. We have fun. We do normal things. We do stuff. We listen to music. You know, we help each other out. We have lunch. We play with our kids.
Yeah.
We do all these things. Now, make no mistake, we absolutely acknowledge and embrace the hedonistic sides of our personalities whenever we get the chance. And that is a beautiful thing. But because we're, you know, well-developed adult people, we're not limited to any one or two personality traits. We can enjoy the hedonistic parts of our personalities while still being thoughtful, compassionate people that want to help our families and our friends and our community and, you know, whatever. Be fucking normal, decent people. And there's no conflict. Right. There's no conflict in any of that at all. And so, yeah, we think it's fun to have normal activities, but full of Satanists. There is something fun about it.
I went to Sky Zone. I did a little bit of bungee jumping with Satan.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I went to drunken painting with Satanists.
Yeah, like a cupcake is just a cupcake, but when you put a pentagram or something on that thing, it's a little bit more fun to me.
I don't know if I
it just is.
I had a boss who gave me a big. It's funny. It's funny you say that. You put something on a piece of food and it becomes a different thing. Somebody gave me a gummy dick one time.
Wow.
And I was like, man,
here we go.
And there was this moment where I was like, should I eat this? And I just did. I just threw it in my mouth. But there's a hesitation. If somebody handed me a cupcake with a pentagram on, first I wondered where the hell I am. Where am I doing? It's not Halloween. And then but then I'm like, all right, well, I got to do it. You know, I'm here. And that's why I put the dick in my mouth.
Okay. Guys, this is Jerry. Have I mentioned? I apologize for Jerry. On our other podcast, I often apologize for Jerry. I guess I should do it here as well.
If you want more of that.
Well, is there anything you want to know about or you would like our audience of presumably mostly Satanists to know about?
No. I think we covered a lot today. I'm glad we did. We did cover. We covered things.
I don't remember.
I mean, really, this is almost.
It all flies by.
Almost been an hour, and we had no idea what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, guys, I just was going to have a casual little episode today. I'm going to be honest. This podcast has been really rewarding and fun so far. I get a ton of messages from everybody, and it's all been really, really overwhelmingly positive, and I love that. We have people on our Patreon who are supporting the show, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for that. That's really cool of everyone, and I do stress myself out a little bit thinking that I need to do a pretty good job to, like, you know, make it worthwhile for everyone, you know? But I just wanted to have a little bit more of a casual episode today, just to sort of exhale for this week before I stress out over more episodes, because, you know, I don't know what you guys think of every episode when you hear them, but it is stressful over here. I am trying. It's a tight schedule. I'm wrangling guests. People stand me up. It's a whole thing.
It's funny. Like we we won't bring up the other thing. The amount of effort. There's a lot of effort. Joseph does a lot of the technical aspect. We really don't do anything to show up,
yeah,
but
Jerry doesn't do shit.
He just does all the stuff. And then I saw the care as to which he's putting Joseph's putting into this. I was like, whoa. I bet you. Do you edit out the ums and uhs?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, do you do any? But he was.
I mean, I'll go in and clean up. You know, if something is, I've edited episodes where there's just shit that needs to be taken out or extraneous talk.
We do not do that on the other one.
No. Well, and here, in fairness, I should give Jerry a plug. Jerry is here. I mean, it's my own plug as well, but our special guest is Jerry. He is the co-host of the Grunge podcast. You can find Jerry and his his co-host, me,
Joseph Rose.
over at thegrungepodcast.com. We do a music podcast, guys. So if you want to know, we listen to records and we talk shit and we do a lot of weed.
Yeah.
And that's what we do over there.
It's a, from what I can see from this, it's a real like whoosah, like
over here.
yeah. Over here, there's no. It's so nice to have a conversation with you without having some shitty band playing in the side of my head the whole time.
Or some great band.
Over some great band. But we do have to give time to the music. Like, that's the thing. You just sit there. This was a real conversation. Thank you for having me on.
If you guys loved Jerry, you can find more of Jerry over there.
And I'll come back.
I think you will come back. I think I'll have you on here. Yeah, I don't know what the hell for right now, but I'm sure we'll have a reason.
Pull the shoot, man.
You know, we'll feel the need. And of course we do want to. I'm going to talk about music on here. We're definitely going to have some music-focused episodes. I love music more than anything else in the world, really. And gosh, when you mix some Satan in with music, that just tickles my fancy.
I'm a huge fan of black metal, and so that I look forward to it. I think, actually, I'm the second guest that you know is Mara Lacantes. Is this? First one.
Here we go. Jerry is casually acquainted with Mara, who was co-hosted a few episodes.
We've been on this, so good stuff.
That's right. All right, Jerry. Well, thank you for coming on and doing this. Guys, this podcast is hailsatanpodcast.com. Please visit the website and do all the stuff. We will talk to you all soon. Keep it together out there. I know these are trying times for everyone. Jerry, can we get a Hail Satan?
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Abend schütten hebben. Die boer voor je service.